the first thing that came to your mind, like Peter did, when Yeshua asked him, "Who do men say that I am?"
Right.
It was the Holy Spirit that revealed it to him.
Right. Right.
And that's the same. That's like a way that we can kind of practice, because you have to practice.
Well, you got to practice. You got to keep it in perspective, and you got to have some basic truths.
Yeah.
You know, some basic
That's
understanding.
Right.
The Most High is not a copycat.
No.
He don't copy behind a demon. The prophets say he is the Alpha and the Omega. All right. So everything in between is a copy from what he said.
That's right.
So that's why we look to him for our guidance. Let's get ready to go into the book of Deuteronomy. Prophets brung this out in Psalm 147. He showed his word unto Jacob. He hath not dealt so with any other nations. The Most High has not given his word, his statutes, and judgments to no other nation but Israel, Jacob. Go over to Deuteronomy. Well, what does Deuteronomy mean, prophet?
Do over.
To do over, right?
Pretty much. Basically it's like a repeat of everything that the Most High had given Moses to do.
Right.
And as you read through this particular book, you'll see towards the end that this is where the end of where Moses' life ends. So it's like, you know how you sometimes you see people on their deathbed, or when elderly people feel like their years are waning and about to be over, they want to give you everything that they can think of to pass on, so that will take care of you while they're gone. So that's what Deuteronomy is. He's almost going over again everything that was kind of said in the previous books.
Exactly. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and read verse 38. Chapter 4, read verse 38. We're just bringing out some commandments that has never left what the Most High established even in the beginning.
37?
38. Well, you know what? Read verse 37. Yeah, right above.
And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed.
What?
Therefore he chose their seed.
He chose their seed. The Bible say that the Most High chose their seed because he loved our forefathers.
And we're talking about Jacob.
We're talking about Jacob, right. Come on.
Okay. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out in sight with his mighty power of Egypt. So this is where he is, like I said, he brought them out of the land of Egypt. So at this point we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And Jacob, yep. Come
on. To drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art.
So now it was other nations greater and mightier than Israel at this time.
That were mixed with them.
That was mixed with them, right? Coming out of Egypt.
Right.
Come on, prophets.
To bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance as it is this day. So to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance, as it is this day.
Come on.
Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart.
And consider it in thy heart. Come on.
That the Most High God, he is God, in heaven above and upon the earth beneath. There is none else.
There's another God besides him?
No.
There's none else. Come on.
Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes.
What?
Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes.
Come on.
And his commandments, which I command thee this day.
Come on.
That it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee.
And with thy children after thee. So this was generational, right?
Again.
Come on, Father.
And that thou mayest prolong the days upon the earth.
What?
Which the Most High thy God giveth thee forever. When we read, know therefore this day and consider it in thine heart, that the Most High God, he is God in heaven above and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. So people would, a lot of times they find conflict because, like we said just prior to reading this, there is no other God, but there's no other God for us. You have to understand he's speaking to us, and consider this in your heart. Never ever think that there there's any other God. Don't turn to Mammon as a God. That's really what he's saying. There's a lot of them that'll be out here, but you must consider in your heart and hold in your heart to know that there is no other God.
Brothers and sisters, I don't care what man calls you or what you think you are. Guess what? You are what the Most High said you are. You are Israel. You are Jacob.
So when we look at this, elder, if we're gonna take it all the way, and he says there is no other God, what is he talking about? Because this is where we have the confusion. Everybody's thinking, well, no, we can worship like we want to. We can do this. Why is this so particular? People still will make this vague. Well, that's vague. It's not vague. This is Moses. Moses is saying everything, just like we said with Deuteronomy, is do over. He's saying everything that the Most High has already told him. So really, when he's talking about this, he's already done, what is it, Exodus chapter 3.
Right, that's
verse, and where he gave him his name.
Exactly,
that's what it is.
Right,
that's what he's talking about.
And we got to put significance on it because this is a retelling. This is a do-over, right?
Yes.
So just to sum it up, brothers and sisters, where you can recognize where we're coming from today. Any God that you worship that does not tell you to keep the 10 Commandments, to keep the law,
the commandments. Yeah, that's a lot of commandments.
To keep the commandments of this book here, is not the God of this book.
Or even to keep the holy days, the feast days.
The holy days are part of the Sabbath.
That's right.
Christ kept the Passover.
You mean a part of the Sabbath and the commandment?
Right. A holy day is a Sabbath. Them feast days, those are Sabbaths.
Right. And so that's a part of, I get what you're saying. So that's a part of the fourth commandment.
Yeah.
Remember the Sabbath day.
Read chapter 5.
Chapter 5 of what?
Read chapter 5. Read verse 11. Go ahead, verse 11.
Thou shalt not make the name of the Lord thy God, the Most High. You shall not take it in vain, for the Most High will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Come on.
Verse 12. Keep the Sabbath day.
Keep the what?
Keep the Sabbath day.
Keep the Sabbath day. The Sabbath day is not just one day out of the week.
So we know that this is precept in Exodus.
We know that.
It was said. So that's what we mean, do over. He continues. So Moses is telling them again. And you'll see, like I said, at the end, Deuteronomy was the last book because he died at the end of this book. He died.
Read that. Come on, read that again. Verse 12.
Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Most High thy God has commanded thee.
Come on.
The 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath day.
But the seventh day is what?
The seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord, the Most High God, or Most High Power. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou.
Now hold it there, Prophet. So this is what we're saying according to today's title, Not Ordained. We had men come into our temples and start teaching stuff that was not ordained by the Most High. And they got in trouble for it. Let's get ready. You know what, Prophet? Where is it when Christ talked to the Samaritan woman? Let's piggyback her real quick. What was that? Matthew? Let me see. It's Matthew 14. Let's see. Yeah. Because Christ, even Christ recognized this, brothers and sisters. What was it, John? Let me see.
Let's see. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's important that we stay in tune with the God of the Bible, the Father of Christ, the one true God, Ahaya Esher Ahaya. That's what we got to make sure that we do.
Is it John 4?
John 4? Let's see here.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. John chapter 4, brothers and sisters. Here's Christ talking to a Samaritan lady. She was really a convert. She was a convert that had been living in our land. All right, prophets, I want you to start here. Start at verse 7.
There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yeshua, or so-called Jesus, said unto her, Give me to drink.
It's my water anyway. Give me to what? What he say?
He said, give me to drink.
Give me the drink.
For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria?
So look, she boasting about, look, I'm from Samaria. You know, how is that you asking me anything? Come on, prophet.
For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
Okay, now what did Christ tell her?
Yeshua, Christ, answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of the most high power, and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. But see, it's interesting too, because I think in verse 8, it says, for his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. It was a reason that was said. Because had they been there, they would have kept him from speaking to her.
Exactly. Exactly. This was done so he can spend some time with her.
So she could know. Want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Verse 11, the woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father? Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Art thou greater than our father Jacob, right? Come on.
Which gave us the well and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle.
Okay.
Christ answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up unto everlasting life.
Now, Christ was being real clear about who he was, basically. Because you are so-called father in Jacob. You're studying our word. You're studying our scriptures. You should know who I am.
Right.
That water Jacob got, Jacob's well, that well dried up. Christ is telling you, you drink of my water, you ain't gonna thirst again. You don't even know. Basically, telling you don't even know who I am. You perceive a thing and know not. Come on, prophets, keep going.
Verse 15. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Christ said unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither.
Okay.
The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Christ said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. And that said thou truly. And that saith thou truly. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
You got to be a prophet or something. How do you know all of that, right? Come on.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain.
Come on.
And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
I said Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship, right? That's what Christ said. That's what Christ said, right? But what she say? Our fathers what?
Worshipped in this mountain.
Come on.
And you say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
Right.
Christ said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when you shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship you know not what.
You worship what?
You know not what.
You worship what ye know not what. For what?
You worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. So
there we go right there, brothers and sisters. Right there, Christ telling the Samaritan woman, right? Here are some key facts. The Samaritan woman studied the Torah. They had the Old Testament.
Yeah.
They knew the scriptures.
Yeah.
They were just blind to see who Christ was.
Right.
And he made it clear, salvation is of the Jews.
And that she didn't even know what she was worshiping.
She didn't know she was worshiping.
And that's where we are. And that's why I continue to say, people can think you can read through this Bible and you put it down. The Bible is not a novel. It is your life. It's your life.
It is your life. Let's look at this. Let's go to 2 Kings. Let's go into the Old Testament. Let's go to 2 Kings here. Go to 2 Kings. Chapter 17. Uh,